Good evening, darlings. So tonight I have a question from YouTube user DNA Cosplay who says, can we maybe see what your normal work schedule is like, such as meetings with Thorn, Elrond, and such? Well, Dark Darling, I'm glad you asked. Unfortunately, because of some certain incidents that have happened recently, I can't sort of take the camera with me and do a day in the life of sort of thing. But maybe once security gets a little more lax, we can do something along those lines. But until then, sure, I'd be happy to sort of run down my schedule. I'm sure I have... let me just dust off this piece of paper here, which has sort of a typical day's worth of meetings and all that. Let's see, I'd be arriving at work anywhere between 6 a.m. and 8 a.m. It sort of depends greatly on what's sort of going on and how much work I have for the day and how early I could possibly leave. Typically meetings for the first few hours. Let's see, this is from, looks like 2 weeks ago, where I had a meeting from 7:30 to 9 and another one from 9:30 until 10. And then generally I sort of take about a 5-10 minute break, you know, have something strong to sort of pick myself back up. And then I look over the stocks and read a little bit of news while I'm waiting for appointments, which is what normally happens next. So I had client meetings for the next 3 hours after that. Dreadfully boring, but so important, darling. You cannot underestimate the importance of your clients. And then this was sort of an unusual week because we were looking at some new partners. So we had some tours of the facilities for 2 hours with one potential partner, and then we had a 1 hour meeting that was about a merger that's coming up. Not for another couple of weeks. And then I had lunch, which was with a client, of course. But we had a nice hour and a half talk, and they signed, so obviously things went well. And then, I'm sorry, this sounds dreadfully boring, doesn't it? And then the last 4 hours was sort of some meetings with marketing and a lot of filling out reports and such. And then the last hour was another conference call. So as you can see, it's so boring, darling. It really is, to hear about, particularly. You know, actually doing it, there's a lot of sort of work involved. You know, I haven't had to deal with Mr. Oakenshield in a professional setting for several weeks now, and that's only because we use a company that their company has dealings with, and so often, particularly if it's sort of to strum up some business with this other company that we both use, we're invited, and you cannot say no, you have to go, and then that's normally where I see him. Elrond I don't really see quite so much, you know, mostly because I'm not sort of in that geographical area at the moment. Although I used to see him all the time about 4 years ago, it seemed like I was seeing him every week or so. At least once or twice a month. But you know, I don't not necessarily see a lot of the sort of people you all know about. It's mostly just sort of the little people, you know, or lots of potential clients. So it's not really something sort of very exciting, darling. I hate to say that, but it is true. So so thank you so much for asking, and I will see if perhaps on one of the more exciting days we can do a little bit of an office tour or something, but no promises, of course. So until then, darling, thank you so much for your question. Cheers.